Good day, everyone. My name is Daniel Ludik. I'm sorry that I could not be at the meeting, but I thought I thought I'd make a quick video just to give you an overview about where we're currently at with the CycleSense project and just a bit of feedback from my side. So specifically, we will be, I just want to look quickly at the sign up portal, which is cyclesense.co.za, and also then something we've been working on called the installer portal, which is located at that web address www.installer.cyclesense.co.za. That is essentially something that we've been building for all our approved fitment centers, like the cycle shops. And then I want to show you something, some innovation from our side called the CycleSafe app. It's just an idea or a concept that we currently have that we think that we feel very excited about, and I think it essentially addresses a very much needed aspect in South Africa, which is to create a cycle safe community out there, because cycling is increasing in popularity and we need to group everybody together to ensure that we remain safe and that the riding remains safe. And we've got a couple of ideas how to really integrate this with Netstar's help, but I'll get back to that a bit later. Okay, so firstly, how does the whole CycleSense sign up setup works? Perhaps most of you are aware of this or know the process quite well, but I thought I'd just give a couple of notes for everybody so that we are 100% on the same page. All right, so essentially what happens is interested users, that's now members from the public, that are interested in gaining a tracking or acquiring a tracking device for his or her bike, visits this website cyclesense.co.za over there. And then they are presented, once they land at the website, they're presented with a very simple sign-up form where they essentially complete this form details with general information, banking details. That includes their account number, also debit order, and also branch code that's needed for the debit order facility between the client and Netstar. And then also he or she enters a preferred installation center, which is now the cycle shop that they would like to use for fitting their device. They also upload an image of their bike, and then they accept Netstar's terms and conditions, and finally they proceed to the online payment for the device. Okay, so this information is quite important because what we do is we capture all of this information and send it to our own database, where we have a couple of representatives that looks at the data and then checks that the submitted details, specifically the personal details and also the banking details, are correct. It also, these representatives also check that the using the photo that was uploaded by the user to the website, that the correct tracking unit will reach the specific installation center that the user wanted to use, so that we get the right device to the person for his or her bicycle, right? There's slight differences in terms of road bikes and mountain bikes and so on, but I think the current collection of Netstar tracking devices are perfect to essentially address all of the cycles, and maybe not optimally for now, but definitely we can find a solution for a particular bike. But it's very important that the CycleSense representatives check this device, check the photo of the bicycle before getting the right unit to the bike. Okay, and the CycleSense representative then also coordinates with the installation center, that is the cycle shop, to ensure that the user and the device essentially are coordinated with regards to the installation. Okay, so once the user is then notified that his or her installation is going to take place at this particular installation center, they then pitch up at that place, at that cycle shop. And what we are creating now for the installers at the cycle shop is just a very simple and easy way in which to capture all the installation data, right? There's there's various aspects with regards to a bicycle to specify it on the Netstar system to ensure that when a recovery has to be done, the recovery team has all the necessary information to find the bicycle. So essentially, they log in, and only once they are logged in, and this is approved cycle shops only, once they are logged in, they gain access to a specific part called New Installations on this website. And under the New Installations section, they can then enter into also an online form. They can enter the bike make, the model, the color, the serial number, and also the VBU number of the device that is being fitted to this particular bicycle. And they submit this information then, and that information then again goes to the CycleSense database in the backend. This database entry is also augmented, so it's enriched, so to say, with the data that comes from the original sign up of the user, right? His or her ID number, their banking details, and so forth. And then that data is combined and formatted by automatic processors on our side, and it's passed on to Netstar via an automated approach that we are currently in the final stages of rounding off. But before the data goes from, the final data now goes from CycleSense to Netstar so that it can get on your CRM profile or CRM platform. This is also then checked by the CycleSense representatives to ensure that everything is 110% correct. That is, the bike codes are correct, the serial numbers are correct, everything looks fine, because once we send it to Netstar, we also want to make sure that we are specifying the correct bicycle for the correct user. Netstar, as far as I understand, Netstar then issues an installation certificate, and we can communicate that back to the client so that they know that their bike is covered perfectly fine. Okay, so I hope that gave you a quick overview of how the sign up process works, and also then how data flows to the installation center at the end, and specifically where the CycleSense as a company with representatives or staff plays a very important role in ensuring that the correct units are fitted to the correct bicycles, and also that the correct installers are approved to fit these devices. All right, so what we were also thinking about is that we should focus on creating a national awareness about cycle safety, not just in terms of theft and recovery, but also in terms of really protecting this cycling fraternity, as you can say, in a way. And one easy way in which we thought to do this is by using an app, because people like apps in general, right? It's easy to use, fun to use. Essentially, this is just a mock-up of something we have in mind. It's called the CycleSafe app. You can download it on the app stores and so on. And then after linking this app with your specific member profile, so maybe a couple of thoughts here and there, whether only members that has tracking units installed can gain access to the app, or people in general can gain access to the app. That's some thought to discuss a bit later. But regardless, let me just take you through the functionality of the various parts that I think might be interesting. Okay, so firstly, you have these couple of logos, the first of which is Safe Route. So what this will help us to do is riders can, for example, list safe and fun routes that they experience, that they can ride, but also unsafe routes can be listed here. So if you click on this, you get a good overview of unsafe routes, and that can be routes where theft has been reported. Okay, now theft can be reported in two ways, perhaps manually, but also in some automated approach between CycleSense and Netstar. Isn't there might be some record of where thefts take place, where a lot, yeah, that's something we need to think about, but yeah, that is just one of the items in this app is safe route. So let's let riders list safe and fun routes, and essentially also identify unsafe routes. The second key feature is, from my own experience, from personal experience, I commute with my bicycle, and I find myself in the mornings riding alone. And I also see on the route a lot of other riders doing a similar thing. Now, logically, we will be safer in numbers. So, isn't there some way in which I can find other riders sharing the type of routes that I want? And the reason I don't do that is because it's time and effort, right? I can make the effort to go look for somebody, but what would be better is if we can find a way in which to have some auto suggestions. Um, and we can, one of the things that I think might be interesting is if we look at how can we use your boomerang device to acquire data or riding profiling data of members that has also approved the CycleSafe app to use that data to identify overlapping routes, right? So if I commute in the morning at 6 a.m. and somebody else living 3 kilometers from me also does the same, perhaps this app, the CycleSafe app, can suggest that we do this together. In the future, we might also then consider integrating with other well-known apps like Strava and Garmin, but I think this might be a very interesting approach to go with this with your new boomerang device. Then this feature on the CycleSafe app is essentially park and snap. So what this does is if a rider comes to an unsafe situation, like for example, maybe trees fell over in the road or we see suspicious behavior, he can take a picture and then upload it to the CycleSafe app. And finally, there's a Just Ride option where you would like to notify your family or your friends that you're going to go out for a ride, and they can also track your progress. Finally, there's this big report theft button over here, which if I am in a situation where my bike has been stolen and I now have to report it to Netstar, this button essentially does that. It contacts the call center or the Netstar automatically and uploads all my my information that has been linked to this app already. And I just click on report now, and yeah, you've been notified of a theft. Okay, so thanks. That's just a quick couple of minutes overview about yeah, where we're currently at with sign up and installer portals, and also then some ideas that we are thinking of to create a bit more than just a tracking solution, to create some cycle safety awareness in South Africa with the help of Netstar. Thanks. Enjoy your day.